was just working a bit ago.
This is a mic test. Okay, now we have sound. All right, looks like we had some sound issues there. We should be back now. Sorry for the delay. When we take a look at how these teams compare against each other, obviously we can't really compare them to their last competition because Millard North played against Millard South and Millard West played Elkhorn South. And as we saw yesterday, Millard South is the clear best team between the two of them. So Millard North, yes, it looks like Millard West has the clear advantage, but really I think these teams are very similar in their talent and in how they play.
They're both hungry for a win. Millard West came off a very disappointing year last year. Millard North obviously isn't. It's been a bit since they've been great, making that championship run, what seems like 2015 or something like that. It's been a while since Millard North has actually won big. They're hoping for that. Millard West, they're just trying to claw back at it after having a very disappointing season last year.
I definitely agree. And when we look at Millard North, last year they started out kind of rough, but at the end they picked it up quite a bit. And maybe that's just what we're going to see here today because Millard West matched up against them in week 2 last year after, kind of similar. I mean, Millard North 0-1 once again, and Millard West 0-1 once again, losing to Elkhorn South. So I think Millard West has a little bit more of an advantage just because I think quarterback play, I think I trust Brody Peterson more than I do Charlie Quaintance, which he did have a good game to, I guess, Millard South standards. So, I don't know. Looking at the keys to success, though, for Millard West, if they do want to go ahead and win this game, Logan, what do you got to say about that?
First of all, just let Brody cook. We saw him the first half of that game. It was Nathan Peterson. That was what the offense was surrounded around. Let him run, let him get the rock. And for the most part, that's going to work. He put up 248 yards on a very good Elkhorn South defense. But once Brody started getting to passing and started getting hot, that's when you see him throw for 104 yards and throw to his favorite target, Jackson Williams, for a total of about 70.
And as for the defense, I think it's just apply pressure. We've got great talent on the line. We got Tony Fea, Tanner Titus, Louis Ziemba. I think these guys can get a lot of pressure, and they did on Elkhorn South's quarterback. So I think Millard West defense, they're good, and especially that secondary because we know Elkhorn South, they have a good pass attack, and Millard West did a pretty good job most of the time in kind of keeping them contained. So I think this is a young, up-and-coming secondary that I don't think there's a single senior on there that's starting. So I believe this is going to be a good secondary for this year and next year.
Yeah, a good core to build around. And something onto that as well, I think with Millard North, they have to run the ball here. We saw it last week. Their quarterback ran for over 100 yards, led the team in rushing. The problem is with Millard West, can they contain the rush? Can they contain the outside? Millard North is a run-heavy team. They have to contain the run game. Otherwise, it's going to be a tough one for Millard West to win.
Usually in our home opener, we talk about who we think is going to be a breakout player because usually the home opener is week 1. But now that we've had 1 week to kind of look at how these players are playing, on the stream we have kind of a tradition of who is going to be the breakout player. My first year was Ethan Valencia. Last year was Nathan Peterson. This year, for me at least, it's going to be quarterback Brody Peterson. He's young. He's a sophomore. He's the coach's kid, Brody Peterson. And I think he's one of the best throwing quarterbacks we've seen since probably Tristan Gomez 2 years ago.
Way back when.
Yeah, and I mean, when you think about it, we had 3 quarterbacks playing last year: Jacob Jones, Tristan Harms,
and then
Brody Peterson, and Brady Brow, or Brady Braw. So 4 quarterbacks played last year, and they were all fairly running quarterbacks.
And Brody's the first one that really implements a pro-style attack on offense. He's mobile. He can run the ball. I know one of his favorite players is Aaron Rodgers, and I feel like it's a good comparison when we talk about high school level. If we're comparing that, he can run. He's mobile enough that he can extend the play, and he has very good arm talent as well. And for me personally, I'm picking his favorite target, Jackson Williams. I was talking to him earlier today. He has confidence off the charts. Told me the first play of scrimmage for offense, he's taking the ball, he's running home. 100 yards is what he's predicted. He's a very talented player. Also, he actually beat out Brody on freshman team last year for the starting quarterback spot. Very elusive, very mobile, very shifty, and can be put into any set and most likely succeed. He's a great overall player.
Yeah, we saw him last week against Elkhorn South. He was, like you said, Brody Peterson's favorite target with 8 receptions for 79 yards. Very shifty, very small. So, honestly, I think we're going to see great things from him if Coach Pete lets Brody throw the ball a lot, which I hope he does because he's got a great arm talent, and Nathan Peterson can't do it all himself.
Yeah, and it's going to set up for a great play action. If Brody can get hot, it's going to be perfect.
So that wraps up our pregame show. We should be good to go in about 9.5 minutes for kickoff. We'll see you then. right, teams have been teams are warmed up, teams are ready to go, and we got about a minute and a half left before kickoff. Logan, let's talk a little bit more about what these teams mean in terms of, I guess, just the tradition of both these teams playing here at Buell Stadium, and just how great it is that we have high school football back.
You know, I love it, honestly. I am a big advocate of football being a sport. It's my favorite sport, and I feel like that these two teams, you know, both Millard schools, you know, they're always competing against each other. They always seem to be at around the same spot. You know, basketball last year, that was close when those two played. You know, Hunter Salas, all of that talent, and yet they still seem to always be neck and neck at each other. And we're about to really find out here who is the better of the two.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And one thing that we haven't talked about yet is the return of the student section.
Oh, it's going to be big. We saw it at the volleyball game.
It's really great. I mean, the student section has just been a great part. I saw it especially last week against Elkhorn South. Just, oh my God, I love the energy. I love the atmosphere. And honestly, for early September afternoon, it's quite chilly.
Yeah.
It's kind of cloudy. Usually for the home opener, we're drenched in sweat by the second quarter. So honestly,
I'm fine right now.
This is perfect weather. And it looks like we are getting ready for kickoff. Millard West is going to receive the kick.
The Millard North student section, speaking of it, is already starting to get loud, jumping up and down.
And here we are. Let's catch the opening kick, going down up the middle. And it could be almost had a nice return there by Brady Bra, like we talked about last season, played quarterback for a little bit. And, you know, honestly, I'm just excited to be back. Millard West offense going to be getting cooked. So, honestly, I'm just excited.
Yep.
I really am excited.
Yeah, and that was a great return out there, too. It looks like they marked it right at just about the 25. And, you know, that's a great return. If you're able to get that yardage just shy of it and still get that, like, you know, statistically, it's a good return.
Brody Peterson starting the shotgun formation. Got to drop back to pass on the first play. Down the right side, and that's going to be caught. Looks like Jackson Williams once again gets it to about the 47-yard line.
You know, I was talking to Jackson, and they have a very lethal connection. Jackson, the speedster, they can get him out on that corner, burn him deep like they had just there. If it weren't for that pressure coming from the Millard North defensive line, that could have been a huge play.
I mean, that was just a great play. Like we talked about, we wanted to see Brody Peterson throw the ball, and first play of the game already out the gates. I love it.
Let Brody cook.
Yes, indeed. We got Peterson, and it looks like Williams in the backfield. Peterson's going to hand it off, and it's going to be triple option fumble out of bounds.
I believe that's going to go for positive yardage there, if I am correct. Typically, yeah. Oh, they are going to give it positive yardage, so a disaster turned miracle there for Millard West after the fumble there by Jackson.
Hey, happy accident.
There are no mistakes. There are just happy accidents.
Exactly. See that new Bob Ross documentary on Netflix?
No, but I got a new TV, and it has the Bob Ross channel on there.
All right, Brody Peterson in the shotgun once again. Going to hand it off to Peterson. And Peterson going to go up the middle, going to get stuffed up. Probably going to just get to the line of scrimmage.
Last time these two teams faced off against, Peterson had 128 yards. That is still nothing to laugh at, but it just shows that it's not going to be easy for you to get rushing yards against Millard North. You know, when you have a system like Millard North's where it's running around, it's going to train the defense for that. So it's going to be a lot tougher for you to run the ball, but if you can set up that play action, it will be deadly, and you'll be able to score off of it. And that's what Millard West needs right now.
Peterson in the shotgun once again. Going to drop back to pass. Avoids the pressure, rolls out to his right, and is going to get sacked back into the 42-yard line, yeah.
That's a massive loss there for Millard West. Great pressure from off the edge there from Millard North. They stuffed that one out quick, and that was a great job there, able to get turnover, well, what looks to be punt formation right now. And it also might set you up in a little bit better yardage situation with that 4th and 14.
Sean Murphy back to punt for the Wildcats. Murphy on a good snap. good high kick. Going to get back to around the 10. And that's going to be Millard North. Evades a tackle and is going to get it back to the 26-yard line. That looks to be Isaiah McMorris on a good return.
That's a great start there for Millard North. You're able to get that quick stop, momentum-changing sack. It was a great punt. Got down inside the 10. But his ability to get outside there was lethal for Millard North. He put a move on his defender, too.
So now we're going to start off for the Millard North offense. I mean, the Millard West offense started off great, but then, Peterson stuffed up at the line of scrimmage, and then that Brody Peterson sack really just killed them.
One thing I'm nervous about when it comes to passing the ball is it hasn't happened often. It's not typically something you see with Millard West, and that could lead to some problems like we saw just there.
Charlie Quainton's drop back to pass. It's going to be deep. He's got a man beat. McMorris dropped! Oh, my God. That was a for sure touchdown, but dropped by William McMorris once again.
Great play action there by Millard North. Sending the man in motion, faking it off to him. Had his man beat, too. Just a little bit of the drops there. Great overall play design, just not the greatest execution. As, like you said, he was gone.
Yeah, Charlie Quains with a nice sidearm pass. It was a good pass, great ball placement, just couldn't get a handle on it.
That one's on the receiver there. You can't blame the quarterback. He had some pressure, too, and he faced it greatly.
Brian Petty in the backfield. Quains is going to run with it, and it's going to get stuffed up with about a 2-yard gain.
And that's the one thing about Millard North there is they run the ball a lot. If you're able to stop the run, you're not going to really get that much passing yards. Quainton's only had about 60 against Millard South. That is Millard South, though, but it's still important to look at that if you can stop Millard North's run, they're kind of one-dimensional.
So about 3rd and 6 at the 31-yard line. If Millard wasn't going to stop here, they'd be great field position. Petrie in the backfield once again. A little bit more of a bunch formation. 2 receivers out wide. Quaintance going to get on the screen, and a big stuff there by, look to be Tyler Spreitzer on a big defensive play.
That was just a great job there. We saw the wide receiver set up for that screen. Great read and react there for Millard West, and a huge loss there, setting up even greater field position depending on how this punt goes. He could potentially get himself past the 50.
Brady Braw back to return. Millard North punts it away.
Kind of a wobbler there.
Braw able to get down to the right side, past the 50, and going to get to about the 45-yard line of Millard North.
Great field position there. It kind of was an awkward punt there, kind of a wobbler, and it wasn't really high, it wasn't really far, but it worked for Millard West.
Yeah, so we got the Millard West offense kind of about where they ended their last drive.
So it really just seems like drive for a drive there. Not much, kind of a stalemate, and that's kind of what we were expecting in this one. Both teams evenly matched. But Elkhorn South versus Millard South, that's a great way to see how these two teams would line up against each other.
Both Petersons in the backfield. Peterson going to take the carry. Oh, and he's got open field. Evades the tackler, gets a block. Peterson down at about the 21-yard line.
What a great job there by Peterson, just showing how dangerous he is in the backfield, able to make his man miss. And we saw this a bunch of times last year as well. He's just so small that it looks like he's getting caught up in all the tackles and guards, but he's able to make a move, and he even was fast enough to get blocked into his own guy.
Yeah, that was Jackson Newman, able to turn a terrible block into a pretty good one, and going to get into the open space.
That's the selflessness that Coach Pete tries to preach around here, and it worked perfectly.
Going to hand off to Peterson once again, or it looked like it was a keeper. Going to lose about 2 yards on that one.
That one was stuffed up at the start there. There was no way that one was getting anywhere. Looked like a couple of missed blocks there, missing assignments for the Millard West offensive line. But I have to give credit to Millard North's defensive line. They've applied great pressure throughout.
Honestly, at this point, I think we could be in field goal territory for Enrique Miraz, who had a pretty good game, except for one missed extra point last week.
That was a killer missed extra point, but luckily able to get the 2-point conversion.
Peterson going to get stuffed up, trying to get every yard he can. He might gain one. Going to make it 3rd and long.
It's going to be tough to run up against Millard North. You know, like I said earlier, when you have that run-first system, it really trains the defense into stuffing out that run. I wouldn't be surprised if we see them go to the outside here. That's where they've seen some pretty good success offensively, whether it be a screen or a pitch to the outside. You know, we had that mishandled pitch, still got him about 5 yards, which would be great to set up yourself inside the red zone.
Peterson takes a snap, back to pass. Looks to Williams in the end zone. Touchdown, Jackson Williams.
He called it. He called it. He was scoring the first touchdown in the game. Great start there for about a 22-yard reception to put the Wildcats up by 6 against Millard North early in the first.
I mean, that was just a great pass, rolling out to the right on the run. I mean, Jackson Williams didn't even have his man beat that much, but just extends out right in the corner and able to get the touchdown. Millard West scores first.
So one thing with Brody Peterson, he has incredible ball placement. This is his development year right now. Junior year, that's when everything's going to click together. And senior year, that's when he's going to get those big offers. It starts here, and it's looking great for the young buck.
Enrique Miraz got the extra point off, and what a great show out by the sophomore quarterback. Throws his first touchdown pass of the season, and we will be right back for Millard North. And we're back for Millard North offense to come back once again. And the kickoff.
Great kick there inside the 15.
It's going to be McMorris once again. McMorris makes a nice move, gets the outside, breaks a few tackles, and stuffed up at about the 26-yard line.
I believe McMorris was the one there on the deep burner, and I believe was the first play of scrimmage for Millard North. He has some incredible speed. If he didn't drop that pass, it would be a much different game right now, especially with momentum. But he needs to learn on that and grow on it. If Millard North can utilize the speed that he has, it could get really quick here at Buell.
Mustangs take over. 1st and 10 for the Mustangs. Petrie once again in the backfield. Going to hand it off to Petrie. Petrie gets a nice move and going to get stuffed up at about the 8-yard line.
Yeah, that was a great job there. The one thing with Millard North is they really utilize that offense of send a guy in motion, let's try and mess up the defense there, make them lose an assignment. And they've done a good job of that so far on both sides. Millard North has done a good job with that motion, while Millard West has done a great job realizing what's happening and not missing their assignment.
2nd and 2 here. Quainus under center. Gets it to Petrie, go to triple option. And that's going to be a first down for Will Granger, running back for Millard North, going to get the first down on the pitch.
That was the one thing I said in pregame. Millard West needs to contain that outside run. You know, running that triple option is going to be tough for any defense, especially one with Millard North that has so much speed on their team.
1st and 10 at the 41 for Millard North. Hand it off to Petrie. That's going to be Quains on the keeper. And it could have gained about 5 yards on the play. Acquaintance on a nice keeper. You even faked me out.
That was a great job there. You know, if you can fake out the guys up top, you can definitely fake out the guys on the field there. A little bit of a high blow there on the head. You know, it doesn't seem like it was big enough to take him out of the game or anything like that. But that's the one thing that kind of always scares people a little bit about high school football is those high blows.
Millard West defender picking up a mouth guard. 2nd and 5. And that one going to be a handoff to Pentry. And that'll get positive about 3 yards.
What Millard West needs to start doing is they need to start committing. The problem is with Millard North's offense is if you commit to one part of it, it leaves the rest wide open for them. That's the problem that most teams face when they face Millard North. But what Millard West needs to start doing is they need to start switching off their defensive line adjustments just a little bit so they can play both of them at the same time. They have the speed.
Watch out for Acquaintance. Going to get pitched out. That's Granger once again for the first down.
Great.
2 straight first downs by Granger on the pitch.
Yeah, same play as well. Even pulled off the stiff arm there. It's going to be interesting to see how Granger plays throughout this game. He wasn't even the leading rusher against Millard South. So it's going to be interesting to see how Millard West game plans around him.
When I tilt it down, I can't see it right now.
So 1st and 10 at the 45. Millard North put together a really nice drive here.
I'll let you know.
All the way back at their 31 is where they started. And now Quain's going to pass this one. And he's got a great catch there by Noah Baganowski.
That was an incredible job there. That was tight coverage. Not even like a technical moss, if you want to even call it that. Just great ball placement there by Quaintance and sets him out nicely what looks to be inside the 5. A very favorable placement.
Yeah, at about the 3-yard line. Great explosive play. 2 teams that aren't really known for their pass attack have had a lot of success in the pass game early in this first quarter.
That's the thing. You don't realize that they're a passing team. You start to get those passing yards.
Quaintance, going to be a flag here. And it looks to be a false start on the offense. They'll move back about 5 yards.
Yeah, that is killer right there. I mean, you had all the momentum on your side, a little bit jittery, can cause that stuff. But sending them back 5 is not going to be easy for any team to recover from, especially from this deep in. You know, you can try and get 3, but the ultimate goal is 6. And sending them back 5 yards is not helping them. They do get to keep it 1st and goal, though.
So 1st and goal now back at the 8-yard line. Quaintance going to keep that one up the middle and just short of the end zone. Gets probably back to the 3-yard line.
Yeah, it looks like they're player tying his shoe. So, but the important thing is that was stuffed up from the very beginning, and Quaintance was still able to break out of it. It shows just how explosive of a runner he is, and he's a very tough guy to try and guard with, even with that big pass as well.
I mean, we just see how the offensive line just kind of parted the defense to give Quaintance a lane down the middle.
Parting the Black Sea there, if you will.
Quaintance, and that's going to be broken up at the start. I think that was Tony Fea just busting through the line.
Great job there by Fea. You know, that entire defensive line deserves credit for that. They stuffed that one out at the beginning. And this is where, when you are run heavy, it gets a little bit tougher to game plan inside the 10 and especially in the 20. 3rd and goal here for Millard West and Millard North. It's going to be interesting to see how they play this one. Personally, I would like to see a fade to around the outside. They have a bunch of yardage room that they can work on the right side. They got to utilize that, especially if they have a tight end that they like to catch those deep fades.
So that'll bring them back a yard at the 3-yard line. 3rd and goal. Quaintance going to keep it, and touchdown, Quaintance!
Great job there by Millard North, being able to storm in, and it looks like it was one of those option plays where he could have passed the ball, a run-pass option, and there was a guy open. Great job there by Quaintance, able to pound it in. Now time for the extra point here for Millard North.
Kicker for Millard North, Aiden Stackhouse. High snap. And looks to be, and that's good. Extra point good for Millard North. And now it's tied at 7. We will be right back for the kickoff. And we're back here. Aiden Stackhouse to kick off for Millard North.
Millard West got a good return out of it last time, down to about the 25. Let's see if they can replicate that again.
Oh, you're on my camera?
And now back. And it's going to be big gain there, so to about the 26-yard line.
Improvement of 2 yards. It's still gonna 2 yards is gonna make a difference. It's a game. It's called a game of inches for a reason, and that's a big reason why right there. That 2 yard gain sets up a lot more offense for you. You know, you can drop back and not be entirely scared to take the deep shot. You know, we saw that with Jackson Williams of the first touchdown and the first big play of the game. In fact, the first play of the game. So it's going to be interesting to see what Millard West does back here deep. And Brody Peterson continuing to stay in the shotgun formation.
Peterson going to hand that one off, and he's open space. Nathan Peterson, he might take it all the way. Nathan Peterson gonna take it the distance. Touchdown, Millard West.
Great job there by the Millard West offensive line, moving everybody over to the side there. One of those pull plays, gets him out, bounces around. Almost, if there was an extra 5 yards there, he is not scoring. That is how fast Millard North is. But great job by Millard West, scoring on the first play of their third drive to go up 13-7.
Yeah, I think that was Devin Wilson who almost caught up to Nathan Peterson. A great play. He shows off his speed. But, I mean, great play by the offensive line. I think the offensive line and the running back is something that Millard West has always done great. And Enrique Merez, 2 for 2 on extra points.
Enrique is looking pretty good this time of the year. Looks like he's in peak season form for a kicker already in week 2.
All right, and looks like we will be back for kickoff. And we're back here for kickoff after the 74-yard run by Nathan Peterson to give the Wildcats the lead once again at 14-7.
Yeah, that was just a great job there by Peterson finding that open hole. Got to give credit to the offensive line, though. That one's mainly on them for creating that much space on the left side of the field.
Sean Murphy to kick it off once again. Back deep, McMorris. Ooh, evaded a nice tackle and is going to be down at 25.
I believe that was number 24, Jackson Cahoy, that just missed that tackle there barely, if I'm reading that jersey correct. Super close. I'm sorry, that is going to be number 27, Carter Grease, who just almost pinned them inside the 15, which would have been terrible starting field position there for Millard North. And now Millard North is at the 26-yard line, just like we saw with the last drive.
Hopefully they can put together a nice drive once again to give them another touchdown.
1:29 left here is important. That drive that they last had took about 2.5 minutes.
And that's going to be handoff to Petrie. Break some tackles down at about the 31, so it'll be about a 5-yard gain.
Speaking of time of possession there, when you looked back at those their last games respectively, they both had the ball for over 30 minutes and having much more time of possession compared to the other team. So both these teams like to hog up the clock. It's going to be interesting to see how they adapt to that, because only one team is going to have more time of possession to learn to score, as we're down just under a minute here left to play in the first.
Charlie Quinton's going to keep that one up the middle, and it's going to get them the first down.
One thing I don't like about quarterback runs, and every single person is going to have their opinion on it, is if they do get caught, if a lineman does catch up to them, it's going to hurt them, especially with 300 pounds falling on their body. So you have to admire Quainton's durability here, taking these heavy hits and still going up the next play with what seems to be little hesitation.
1st and 10 for the Mustangs.
Ending near the end of the first quarter here.
Charlie Quainton's going to hand that one off to Petrie, and he hits a wall about 2 yards in.
And that was one thing when you look back at the stats there for Millard South and Millard North, their quarterback, Quainton's, had the most rushing yards for the team with just, I believe it was exactly 100. So it's going to be, if you're going to run the ball, if you're Millard North, you got to figure out something to do with the running back.
And that'll be the end of the first quarter. The Wildcats lead 14-7 at the end of the first. We'll be right back for the second quarter. And we're back here for the second quarter of action. Millard North still on offense, and a quick pass going to be complete once again to Baganowski, who had the big play to get them into the red zone last drive.
That was an awkward pass there by Quaintons. It looked like he did like a little spin, like sidearm type thing. Now he does throw the sidearm pass, so that's kind of why it probably looks so awkward, but really like contorting his body to make that throw, which seemed to be off foot as well. As it's 1st and 10 here for Millard North. Sending the man in motion, and it looks probably going to be a false start there.
Yeah, another false start there for Millard North, possibly.
That's what happens when you run the motion offense as much as you do. It's going to be a lot of false starts because the technical, if you do it, you're a wide receiver and you're going in motion there, and if you do a split second too early, they're going to call you for that. And that's one of the things about motion offense that you have to be careful with.
So 2 false starts on Millard North offense so far.
Millard West playing a clean game so far, and that was the thing with both teams. They needed to play a clean game. Millard North lost 2 fumbles last time against Millard South. Now the score 55-13 isn't going to help out with coming back from that, but 2 fumbles is still 2 fumbles.
Quaintance on the screen, and that one, another flag on the play. Looks like it was going to be stuffed up by Carter Gress and Keegan Mountain once again. We'll look at the penalty flag.
I believe that is going to be an illegal block there, like a low block. It seemed like it might have been on 56 for Millard West. I got blocked there, and it's going to be on Millard North. So that's 3 fouls there for them so far. And the first and 15, problem is, once you start racking up those fouls, it's going to be harder for you to maintain momentum.
Well, at one point it was shaky because I was trying to address.
They're going to bring them back. Looks like another 10 yards or just another 5. Going to be 1st and 20.
Millard North is also one of those teams, 1st and 20. Millard North is also one of those teams that likes to go their huddle far back so, people don't hear.
Charlie Quaintance.
Looks like he's making an audible at the line of scrimmage there. Probably some sort of passing route, I would assume.
And hit as he throws. That's going to be intercepted. Keegan Mountain.
Great job there, just reacting there. That is a great job by Keegan Mountain. He was just right there, took it right out of his hands. Ill-advised throw there for Quaintance as he was all over that one.
Yeah, Keegan Mountain, you just saw his eyes. He read Quaintance perfectly. He saw the pass coming a mile away, jumps the route, and able to get the interception, and great field position for the Wildcats.
Great field position, great momentum. That's a great way to start off a drive as they're down to the 47 already. Perfect job for Millard West defensively. If they can go up here 21-7, this would be big.
And it looks like Peterson in the shotgun. He's got Williams to his right. Peterson back to pass. Evades the pressure, and looks like he's going to lose about a yard on the play.
That was kind of an awkward hit there. That was, I believe, the linebacker, number 20, was Brian Petrie. Yeah, he kind of a low hit there. Looks like he was already down. Would not have been surprised if a flag got called for that, but still, great job there by Brody for the most part to evade the pressure. That was very shifty of him to do that.
Maybe 2nd and 13, a little bit past midfield.
Still great starting field position, regardless.
Peterson going to hand that one off. Peterson, and it's going to be play called dead. And it looks like another flag. False start on the offense. They'll move back another 5.
I could not see where that flag was thrown at. Maybe they just called it dead beforehand. Because there was, I did not see a flag on the field there. This might have been just picked up quickly, but still, that's a killer there for Millard West, making it 2nd and 18.
And it looks like they break the huddle. They got Williams and Peterson in the backfield. And Coach Pete, angry, calls a timeout.
Yeah, he was targeting that one towards Trey Staten there, wanted him to line up at the line of scrimmage in a different formation. And, yeah, Millard West needed to take a timeout there after what just happened with the foul and the loss of yardage.
So, Logan, you got a 2nd and 18 here. Right now, you can't really surprise Millard North on the pass attack because, we've already seen Brody Peterson got a nice arm. They're going to be expecting it. What do you run?
For me, personally, I'm going to run a pass. I feel like if you can put a fullback there, Nathan Peterson's a little bit too small. If you want to try and put it on pass protection, maybe throw in a tight end there in the backfield to give him some extra time to pick up one of those blocks. You can get Jackson Williams deep. I like the idea of that, him going on a post route, but also I like the idea of a run pass if, Brody's able to do that. But if not, a simple option at this point in time, you just got to gain yards. Don't need to take a deep shot yet. But seeing where you're at on the field at 2nd and 18, it's worth a shot, especially with the lead up 7.
I think I'd give it on a nice pitch to Nathan Peterson, especially on that left side, especially how the defense is looking. That's what I would do. Give him some room. Give him some room to run.
Looks like they might go out on a wheel route there. He has so much open room.
That's going to be a handoff to Peterson. And he's got open space going down the left side.
Jackson trying to get a block on them. He does.
A nice block, and that's going to be another touchdown, Nathan Peterson.
And that puts Peterson well over 100 yards. The last time they played, he had just about 120. So a new record here from Nathan Peterson against Millard North. And now Millard West goes up 20-7. Great job there by Coach Pete. You know, you called it there for the most part. If Brody Peterson didn't hand it off, he still had Jackson Williams wide open on that left side there. So a great play call regardless.
Enrique Miraz looking to go 3 for 3.
And we were talking about this a little bit earlier off camera too, but this is a potent Millard West offense. If they can get clicking, Nathan Peterson setting up the run right now could lead to some deep play action, which could be lethal if Coach Pete plays his cards right.
Enrique Miraz once again 3 for 3, and we'll be back for the Millard North offense. And we are back here for the Millard North offense. Millard West once again up 21-7 against the Millard North Mustangs. Just early still here in the second quarter.
And this is a key drive here for Millard North. You have to get something on the board. Doesn't matter if it's a field goal. In a weird way, there could be a safety that occurs. I would highly doubt it. But this is key right here for Millard North. You have to keep a clean drive, no penalties, and you have to make all the right reads if you're Quaytons.
Sean Murphy kicks it off. Going to be returned by Millard North. And going to be stuffed up at about the 20-yard line. Ben Weindel on the return.
That was a great job there by the return team for Millard West. We saw them give up a couple of big ones, able to fix up their mistakes and give Millard North's offense not great field position, as it looks like they are going to be just outside of the 20 at the 21.
That's where Charlie Quaytons will start. Has had a pretty good day throwing and passing.
Did have the one interception, though.
The one interception coming off Keegan Mountain, who honestly just read that play amazingly.
Still an ill-advised throw to begin with. Should not have been making that pass at all, when especially at the other side of the field, a little bit more open.
And the pitch now to Weindel. Going to get a little spin action, but a flag on the play.
I believe that's going to be a face mask just from the way it went down. I wouldn't be surprised if this one's on Millard West.
Yeah, face mask on Millard West. They will get it from the spot of the foul, 15 yards. Big killer there, gives Millard North way better field position.
That was Tony Falia there, and he had a great wrap-up. It was taking him down that probably caused the face mask, because that's just an awkward motion that he was twisted in, that I'm assuming.
Quaytons. And it looks like he's going to keep this one. Plows through tackles and going to get down about a yard short of the first down marker.
He had a great block there by what I believe was the tight end. Completely bulldozed through one of the linebackers there. And Millard North is starting to make key momentum here. If they're down by 14 with 8 minutes left in the second, they do get the ball at after the half. I'm 90% sure on that. Yes, they do.
And 2nd and 2 here for the Mustangs. Quaytons goes down under center. Got Petrie behind him. Petrie hand to the handoff and is going to get stuffed up at midfield. Going to get the first down, though.
Yeah, you know, just one of those instances where you don't need to get a big play. You could take a deep shot if you wanted to on 2nd and 2, but that was just one of those where if you're a good running team, which Millard North is, just take the yards while you have them. That was a great job of the defensive line, though, by Millard West, able to wrap up and prevent from what could have been a huge gain.
1st and 10 at the 50. Quaintance going to pitch that one to Granger, and looks like going to get about a 4-yard gain.
That was Bo Young there, who had an open field situation, played it pretty well, kind of jumped into that one, which you don't want to really see, but he still did a pretty good job of slowing down the runner there. And Millard West, their defense just swarms in, able to pick up on the not necessarily failed assignment, but missed tackle.
Going to be a 2nd and 6 here for the Mustangs. Pitch out to Weindl. Avoids one tackle. Gets the first down and more at the 35-yard line.
Yeah, I was looking in the backfield there. Looks like number 22 for Millard North. That was going to be Will Granger. Kind of getting physical with that block there, and that's what Millard North wants to see. Couldn't have been called for a foul there. Yeah, the ref was right there, so definitely going to trust his decision to not pull out the flag. But that's one of those situations where it's going to be a close one to call. But Millard North, if they can keep that physical blocking attack, they could set themselves up great here for the rest of the game.
Charlie Quaintance directing the offense. Going to be more of a bunch formation that they've ran most of the game. He's going to keep that one to throw. And he's got, and no pass interference. He's looking for it. That was Noah Baganowski, once again, his big deep threat wide receiver that he's kind of trusted most of the game, and it'll be incomplete pass. I think that was Keegan Mountain once again on the play. Great play by Mountain.
Keegan Mountain locking up. Once you get inside the mountain range, it's a little bit tough to get anything in there, flying it up. One thing, as you said, no pass interference. That was great coverage there. Kind of just underthrew it, Quaintance did.
And Quaintance on the keeper. Stiffs arms a defender, and is going to be, looks like, just around the marker, and it is going to be a first down for the Mustangs.
That's the one thing I gave Quaintance credit, and a bunch of it too. He bulldozes through people. He just trucked through his man there, what should have been about a 2-yard gain at the most. He set up a 1st and 10 here at the 26.
And looks like to be another false start on the Mustangs. Flag on the play.
And this is, I believe, the 4th time we've seen a false start here for Millard North. That is not a good start whatsoever. You're down 14. You're getting around the range of knocking on field goal range. But you have to put something together here. 1st and 15, and that clock is going down quicker than you would have hoped it is with only 6 minutes left here.
It'll be 1st and 15, about 6 minutes left in this first half. Starting at the 31, what were you saying?
If you're Millard West right now, you don't want to go deep here. Looks like there's a timeout on the field. And, yeah, it's going to be a Millard North timeout there. But as I was saying, if you're Millard West, you don't have to play conservative here. It's the 31-yard line, so you're not even worried about red zone quite yet, even though in order to get the first down marker, it is going to be inside the red zone. But if you're Millard West right now, you don't have to entirely play that deep, soft coverage. You can kind of get a little bit creative with it if you want to. Maybe some sort of disguised blitz or something like that. Not bad for Millard West defensively whatsoever. Now, if you're Millard North, you got to get something.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, you're at the 31-yard line. It's a 1st and long. Millard West defense has done an okay job. I mean, really, I think what Millard North has done great is just pounding the rock time and time again. Millard West has these fast drives that, don't last very long, and it doesn't give the defense a lot of time to rest.
Yeah, I mean, they're just wearing down the defense right now. Millard North's defense hasn't played the greatest against the run. Nathan Peterson, he has 2 touchdowns, both over 60 yards, which is just insane for a running back to be doing at this level. But it's going to be interesting to see what both these teams do here on this 1st and 15. It's pivotal. This is a pivotal play here in this first half.
Quaintance back under center. And it looks like he's going to keep it once again. Quaintance in open field. Quaintance going to run into the end zone. Touchdown, Millard North.
Great job there by Quaintance. You know, he's just shown he's putting the team on his back right now. You know, the run game hasn't been the strongest for Millard North, and the passing game, it's been there a couple of times, but, you know, kind of shot after the interception. Just a great offensive drive, you know, methodically marching down the field, killing the clock. Great job by Millard North to score.
And now Aiden Stackhouse going to line up for the extra point. Stackhouse kick is up and off the crossbar. And that's going to be no good.
Simple doink there, you know. No one's going to come back and haunt them, especially in a close game, just 21-13. That is not good for Millard North to be missing that kick in any situation, even if you're up 30. But, you know, for Millard West, you got 5 minutes on the clock. I feel like you can kind of kill it down. Nathan Peterson, explosive running back. But maybe you put in someone like Jackson Williams in there on a jet sweep or something like that, you know. Not uncommon for Millard West to do. And it's going to be interesting to see what Millard West does offensively and defensively. Millard North, they just need to stop whatever's happening. As long as you can get the ball back in this second quarter with 5 minutes left, you should be good.
Honestly, I think Millard West definitely has plenty of time to run up the score a little more before halftime.
Yeah, I feel like at this point it's just a matter of conservatively killing the clock, but also trying to get points on the board. You know, if you get 3, it's not the end of the world. You're still up 24-13.
Aiden Stackhouse on the kickoff.
Stackhouse has had a couple of awkward kicks here, and it's going to continue.
It's a high kick for Stackhouse. Going to be returned at about the 30 and down at about the 34-yard line.
Not the greatest kickoff there by Stackhouse. Good job by Cahoy, realizing you got to react to that. You can't just let the ball bounce because Millard North could get the ball there. So great job reacting, making the catch there, and actually getting some positive yardage out of it, which what seemed like not a great situation. And only killed 4 seconds of the clock, too.
Yeah, great play by Jackson Cahoy. Brody Peterson back in the shotgun. Going to hand that one off to Peterson, who looks like might just get to the line of scrimmage and might lose a yard.
Surprised the officials didn't call the play dead a little bit earlier. I mean, he was stopped for 2 seconds, 3 seconds there, and they still didn't call it.
No gain on the play. 2nd down and 10.
And it's not a bad situation for Millard West right now. It's only 2nd and 10. You still nearing that 5-minute mark. Wouldn't be surprised if there's potentially a deep shot here because you're still in good range if you need to punt it. Just got to be safe with the ball here. Can't do a costly turnover. Keep it clean.
And Brody Peterson going to take the snap. Back to pass. Rolls out to the left and is going to be sacked down behind the 30. Going to be at the 27-yard line. Big loss here for the Wildcats.
That is huge for Millard North as well, being able to keep up with this momentum. It is a game of chess right now, and both teams just took out the rook with this drive, and for Millard North, that previous touchdown. It's going to be a close one throughout this game, and I wouldn't be surprised if Millard North's able to put up some points on the board with, about 4:20 left in this second half.
Especially with Millard North receiving the second half kick. They're going to find the offense first.
You got to play conservative here. Just get the yardage. If you can get to that first down marker on 3rd and 10, 4th and 10.
And that's going to be Peterson. Going to be able to get to about the 30 and try to avoid a few tackles. Going to get about a 4th and 8.
One thing that I'm noticing from Millard West right now is when it comes to those screens with Peterson, the outside guy is not blocking quick enough. He's getting on his guy, but he's not pushing him forward to actually create a block. It's more of a seal there rather than a block and hurting instead of helping. But, it's a 4th and 8. You actually gained 2 yards. You advance forward, and it's not going to be terrible field position if you're thinking defensively here for Millard West. Millard North, you did a great job.
And great kick by Sean Murphy. And now it's up to Millard North. That's McMorris on the return. McMorris down the sideline. Going to get a fumble recovered by the Wildcats.
That is a clear fumble there. He did not step out of bounds. His knee did not touch the ground. That is a fumble recovery for Millard West, and that was one thing that hampered Millard North last game. You know, they had 2 fumbles. They lost both of them, and that sets up near perfect field position for Millard West. And now you're rethinking your game plan here. You have 3:17. You have a lot of time to pick what you want to do here, and you're inside plus territory. Wouldn't be surprised. You know, I love the passing game, but I feel like you can take a deep shot from here and not suffer the consequences if it's a sack, but that offensive line has got to protect Brody.
And it looks like they are going to call it out of bounds for Millard North, so Millard North will be on offense.
An interesting call there. I do believe the ref was right there, though, so from our vantage point, it looked like he was still in bounds. Might have called the knee down, though. But regardless, Millard North football.
And Quaintance hasn't gone under center yet. Now he does on a quick screen, and looks to be just out of bounds there for Weindl.
Got to stout the clock. You know, you got to get down 40, 60-plus yards here in a matter of 3 minutes, which Millard North likes to methodically march down the field and take down the clock. You got to get those outside plays down. So if I'm Millard West, got to scrunch out that outside, keep them in bounds, because there's no 2-minute warning that's going to stop the clock. So and they only have 2 timeouts, which is not a lot to drive down the field.
Quaintance once again hand off to Petrie, and it might have been a keeper there for Quaintance. Going to get to about the 45-yard line.
We're about to go inside 3 minutes here, and for Millard North, it's not a time of desperation yet because you do get the ball back, but it's 3rd and 2. It's a close one. I figure that they're going to run heavy down the throats, and Millard West is just going to have to stuff it up somehow, something they haven't really done at all this game.
3rd and short here. This is a big down for the Wildcats, as it's going to be pitched out to Weindl, and it just right at the marker. They might give it to him.
And they will. Yeah, that was a close one. That was an open field tackle. Great job by Millard West. It is going to move the chains, but just barely getting enough there was Millard North. And that was a great play execution, great play drop as well.
About 2:20 left to go in this second half. Taking a lot of time off the clock. Getting close to the 2-minute drill here for Millard North.
Yeah, we're almost at that 2-minute warning. After this play, it's going to go inside 2 minutes, and that's when I expect the passing game, which has been there. Fumbled snap, and Quaintance is able to get on it.
Yeah, big play by Quaintance. Just mishandled snap there. Going to lose about 2 yards on the play. And the clock's going to keep winding down.
That's why they don't like doing passes. That's why they like being under center there. That's not going to happen often if you're going under center, but if you're in the shotgun like that was just right there, that's when problems occur. And now you only have 1:30 to get well over 50 yards. You got to get about 40 here if you want to get inside field goal range.
Quaintance going to keep this one, and he's going to get stuffed up at about the line of scrimmage. Great defense by the Wildcats.
And I think Millard North's strategy here is just to run down the clock. They're in great field goal position when it comes to punting the ball. So you don't need to use these timeouts here. If they do happen to get a good amount of yardage, probably like a 4th and 2, 4th and 1, I wouldn't be surprised if they do call the timeout, because now we're about to get underneath a minute here as we are now. It's going to be a close one if you're Millard North. This is a pivotal drive in this first half.
Switch to her camera. I'm going to go check out the food situation. Don't go to me.
And now Quaintance on a deep pass. That's Blanowski, and just out of reach.
I think there was a little bit of a push-off there, actually, pushing away from what I believe was Mountain. But 4th and 11, 44 seconds left. You're not in a terrible situation for Millard North. You know, get the ball back, but you're down 8 instead of 7 because that missed doink extra point. So this punt has to be great for Millard North, and we haven't really seen that from their special teams. Kind of been a lackluster performance, especially with the high snap, the missed field goal, and what seemed to be terrible punts, and I believe a timeout has just been called by Millard North here, or Millard West, rather. Yeah, Millard West is going to take a timeout there, kind of like icing the kicker in a sense, but the punter, you know, it's high school football, so it's going to affect him a lot more. But, Miguel, what are your thoughts on this first half so far?
I mean, I think Millard West has really done great offensively. Defensively, they struggle a little bit, but I think that's more due to Millard North offense and how they've just pounded the rock nonstop, whether that's a quarterback draw, whether that's a triple option. I think running the ball, Millard North has definitely excelled the most here in this game, in this first half. But I think the Millard West defense has done what they need to do. I mean, they're up at halftime.
That's what matters. That's what matters in any game. As long as you're up at half, you're set up well, but your defense has to play exceptional.
And running through the line and almost blocked there for Millard West. And that's going to be just right out of bounds with about 37 left on the clock.
All right, Millard West. I see them just running the ball. I mean, you have Nathan Peterson. If you can get a score, if you can somehow get it 80 yards across the field in a matter of 37 seconds with Nathan Peterson, I wouldn't be surprised if that happens, but I think just best to kneel it out at this point. You know, you don't want anybody to necessarily get hurt, especially with just 37 seconds left.
Yeah, I think they're just going to take a knee here.
Well, that's shotgun.
Shotgun formation.
They're going to go for it.
And Nathan Peterson running the rock. And going to get stuffed up at about the line of scrimmage, maybe a gain of 1.
Just under 30 seconds left to play in this second quarter, and you gain a 2. I mean, that's kind of what we were expecting there, in a sense. You know, it's under center sometimes. It can be a little bit iffy when you're all crunched up like that. So not entirely surprised by it, but at the same time, 10 seconds left. I think they're just going to let this one run out, actually.
Yeah, they are. They're going to let this one out.
Yeah, that was a smart job there to actually try and gain some yardage. You know, when you have Nathan Peterson, if you can just run up like that, do it. You know, he's one of the best runners in Class A. So might as well just take the shot. You know, if you don't get it, you don't get it. If you get it, you get it. And that is going to be an end for the first half here.
Yeah, that's going to end off the first half. Millard West 21, Millard North 13. We'll be right back for a quick halftime report in a little bit. right, we're back here, ready for the second half. A little first half recap for those who are just tuning in. I'm Miguel Paredes, joined with me, Logan Mosley. Logan, what happened in the first half?
Very simply put, Millard West's run game has dominated so far. The running game has been key for both teams, but Millard West specifically, they've had 2 60-plus yard touchdowns with Nathan Peterson, who has been going berserk as of late, especially against Millard North. And Jackson Williams having a touchdown receiving pass in this game, I believe the only one. The important thing to note is Millard North has lost the turnover differential massively. They have 1 pick, 1 fumble, and they just had
the pick, because the fumble was called back.
But they have had 2 fumbles that they both luckily won, but still they have been playing very sloppy as of late, trying to clean it up. And the big thing for Millard North as well, false starts have been killing them.
Yes, indeed. I mean, they're only down by 8, but I mean, I've got to say, in terms of what Millard West has been doing, I think their offense, keep doing what you're doing on offense. I think the offense is working perfectly. In terms of the defense, I know it's hard to stop Charlie Quaintance because, I mean, he is a beast quarterback that he reminds me a lot of Tristan Gomez, but Gomez was really shifty. Quaintance is more pound the rock. He's more of a running back that can throw sometimes.
Yeah, he's a tall running back that knows how to throw the ball and has pretty good ball placement for the most part. The one interception, that was kind of on that one was completely on him. Terrible read, and the other side of the field was open. The other thing is Millard North, maybe they start going to the pass a bit. It's been there for most of the night. It's been some bad reads there by Quaintance. So if you're Millard North, maybe you start thinking about changing some things up just a little bit. You know, that outside run was working for a while now. Maybe instead you go less of a pitch and more of a straight handoff with a push on the offensive line to the other side. Now, if you're Millard West, you got to start thinking, how do we extend the lead without getting sacked? Because they haven't really been able to pass the ball, and that's because their offensive line hasn't been doing great blocking-wise. Brody has been playing an amazing game so far. You know, he's been doing as much as he can. He's had incredible pocket presence, able to shift in and out of the pocket and make some off-kilter throws. He's been doing really well tonight. The receivers have been doing well. They haven't really been, dropping big passes that I can remember distinctly. But it's just got to clean up the little things for both teams that is going to lead them to the win.
Yeah, and as we talk about Millard West and their offense, you talked about how Brody Peterson was doing a really good job. And I definitely agree. But something we got to talk about is the offensive line and their relationship with Nathan Peterson. Because really, we saw that on both his long runs for touchdowns that the offensive line is really doing a great job blocking for him. And then Jackson Newman on both of his runs had a great down-the-field block to basically give him the touchdown both times.
Yeah.
So really, running the ball has never been a problem for Millard West. They've always been a run-heavy team, especially with their quarterbacks and with their running backs. Now that they're kind of leaning towards, because Brody Peterson isn't a running quarterback. We saw that last week where many times he could have run for the first down, but he decided to make an ill-advised throw, and it didn't always work. But when we look at kind of the dynamic between Brody Peterson, Nathan Peterson, Jackson Williams, and everyone around the offense, Brody Peterson, he's a thrower, and it does kind of inhibit Millard West offense because, you know, you don't have what Millard North has where they can really run the triple option that effectively because you basically rule out one of the possibilities there because Brody Peterson, he's not known as a runner.
Yeah, right now Millard West, they're switching over. When we're talking about scheme, they're switching over from a run-heavy team to a balanced team, and I'm assuming by the time Brody is a senior, it's going to be relied around him, which I'm completely expecting here. And I talked about this off camera. This is the development year for Brody, because right now they're still in a technical rebuild. They have a young core. What they need to start doing is once they start maturing those players, that's when they're really going to be a powerhouse and building up the program again, which I feel like as a freshman who went into that program last year, COVID really hindered a bunch of things that they were trying to do. Yeah, the loss of seniors was huge, but now they're really starting to build up on back again, and now we're starting the third quarter here.
Yeah, Sean Murphy ready to kick off. Millard North already in formation, ready to go. Millard West still in their huddle as they branch out here.
Do we see an onside kick? This seemed like a little bit too long of a huddle for a normal kickoff. Maybe we just see a fake onside kick here. You never know. I mean, if you feel like you can get it past the 50, I wouldn't be surprised if it's an onside kick. But again, I would be shocked if it is, because that just doesn't happen.
And Sean Murphy to kick it off for the second half. High kick to about the 30. Going to be fielded at about the 30-yard line. No return.
Smart job to just fall on it. That's just getting to the point where that high kick, that had a nice Millard West bounce to it that they could have gotten to. But just falling on it is the safest thing that you can do. You don't need to get any extra yardage. Already down at the 30 on a 1st and 10, down 8. That was the smart play for them to do. Couldn't have been done any better.
That only took 1 second off the clock as Millard North will start on their offense.
Millard North, this is pivotal right here, this drive.
They're going to hand it off to, I believe, Petrie for a nice about 7-yard gain.
Petrie's done a pretty good job so far. Both Petrie and Granger have really it's been a nice running back carousel, running back by committee for Millard North, and throwing in the quarterback, who's a running back built like a quarterback pretty much, and who can make those throws. It's been a pretty good job for Millard North so far.
Quaintons, he's going to keep this one, pitch it out to Granger, and it looks like he's just short of the first down.
Might have extended that a little bit. It's going to be a close spot where they put it. I wouldn't be surprised. It looks like it's going to be a 3rd and inches. Yeah, just probably 6 inches, not even 6 inches away from getting that first down. It's just that close there.
Yeah, very close. Third and inches here. I wouldn't be surprised if this is just a quarterback draw up the middle.
I mean, if he wanted to, he could try and jump over it. He's got the frame to maybe potentially do it, but I would be surprised.
And that's going to be Petrie for the first down on a nice run, just fullback dive up the middle.
North is doing a pretty good job. You don't have to have those explosive plays to win a game. If you get in a mathematical sense, you just have to get 3 yards of carry in order to get a first down, because there is the 4th down as well. Of course, there's the risk. You don't get it, all that, but it'll be a 4th and 1. So as long as they're getting about 3 or 4 yards of carry, it's going to be pretty good for them.
Quaintons on a keeper, and he's going to get stuffed up at the line of scrimmage. Shoestring tackle.
Great job by Carter Grease there. That was incredible. Open field. We've seen that situation for him a couple of times, and he's really starting to improve himself on those open field tackles, which something we didn't see a lot of last year from Millard West. Those simple little mistakes are what cost them games and what could have been winnable.
2nd and 9 here from the 44-yard line.
Surprised they give him a yard for that. Honestly, I thought that they were behind there. Must have given him some forward progress.
And that's going to be Quaintance on the keeper. And tries to spit out a few tackles. Going to gain of about 3. Going to make it a 3rd and manageable.
Yeah, that's a lot better than about a 3rd and 8 was what they were looking at the beginning there. Quaintance has just done a great job of pounding his way through that Millard West offensive line. They haven't really shown too much resistance there, kind of breaking and crumbling a little bit as the time goes on. Already has been 2 minutes into this so far. 3rd and 6. It's going to be tough to see because you're not in plus range yet. Can't really take a deep shot. So it's going to be interesting to see what they run here.
3rd and 6. Going to be a pitch out to McMorris, and shoestring tackle it behind the line of scrimmage. Great defensive play here by the Wildcats.
You have to give some extension credit there for Isaiah McMorris. That was definitely a loss of 2, but he extended that thing. I don't know what his wingspan is, but it's probably pretty high up there as they gained it like an extra 4 yards off of that, of what should have happened.
Brady Braw back deep to receive the punt.
If it's a favorable punt, they might just let it go back to the end zone.
Doesn't look like it will be, and it's going to be right out of bounds at about the 28-yard line.
That is great starting field position there for Millard West. 28 yards. Obviously they had almost started to drive in plus range. They've gotten pretty close there so far. What's important for Millard West to do here, you just got to run up the score at this point. You're only up 8. It's not comfortable enough. try and get to about the 20, 25-yard line. Maybe you can go for a field goal there, but that's what you're shooting at right now. If you can get past that, great. That's what you want to do is you want to score. But it's all about the methodically marching down the field is what they need to do right now, not necessarily kill time.
And that's going to be Peterson on the carry. Probably about a loss of 1 on the play.
It's been hit or miss for this running game for Millard West. It's been pretty good. It has been exceptional at some times, but then there's plays like that where it's just stuffed up at the line of scrimmage. You have to really give credit to Millard North here. They've done a great job containing that inside run and really separating leverage, getting below and making sure that they can get off their block. Millard West, you need to that pull that they had done before over the shift right worked super well on that long touchdown run.
Peterson on a big gain right there. Open field once again. More blocks down the field, and he's in open space. That's going to be another touchdown for Nathan Peterson.
He is 1 away from tying his record, which came against I believe it was Bellevue East game. That was a playoff game. He's 1 away from tying that, but Millard West just blew this game open for them right now. This is a great job for Millard West. Millard North, you have to be on the edge of your seat right now because this game could get out of reach quick.
Enrique Merez back for the extra point. Can he go 4 for 4? And it is good for Enrique Merez.
One of these times, I wouldn't be surprised if Coach Pete just kind of tests out his range in game. If the score is comfortable enough, you think, might as well see what range you can get from him because he has been pretty accurate as of late.
So, once again, just amazing. Another long touchdown run for Nathan Peterson. I believe he's getting close to 200 yards there. Last game he had 248 yards. So we will see 8:23 left in the third quarter, and we'll be right back for Millard West kickoff. And we're back here. Sean Murphy back to kick. Once again, just another big touchdown run to give the Wildcats a 2-possession game right now, 28-13.
That's the problem with the triple read option offense here, is you get to points like this where you're down. You have to pass the ball, but you just simply can't do that. This kickoff here is going to be pivotal for Millard North. They have to get around the 40 if they want to have a chance to come back.
This one about deep, about the 12-yard line. And Weindl is just going to get to about the 30-yard line.
So, almost, close to that target range there. Still good field position. One thing Millard West has been struggling with as of late is that kickoff coverage. It's been hampering them quite a bit. Punt's been good. They've been really good at closing off the corners there, getting off the edges, sealing them off. The kickoff has been struggling a bit for them.
Millard North will start off 1st and 10 at the 31. Quaintance takes the snap. Going to hand that one off to Petrie. And he's going to get some open space. And he's down the sideline and out of bounds at about the 40-yard line.
That was a great job there by Brian Petrie, getting great yardage, putting them in positive territory here, down at what looks to be about the 37-yard line. That is a great run there by Millard North. That's what you need to do right now is you don't worry about killing the clock, just start scoring. That you can't throw out the original game plan, work on something different now, because these big plays seem to be working better than usual.
And that's Quaintance. Back to throw. And he's got McMorris dropped once again.
McMorris, I believe that's his second pivotal drop on the day. He has not had the greatest game today. You can't really put good coverage on Millard West there. He had his man beat. That's the second time. McMorris has really been struggling with his hands. And when I look at our chart here, McMorris, he's only a sophomore, so he has a lot of room to grow, but they need to definitely improve their hands throughout the team.
Petrie going to get stuffed up about 4 yards in.
I do think that was a great play call, though, on that first down play. That was a good job exposing top over the defense. Now it's 3rd and 6, and you're not in field goal range by any stretch of the imagination.
From here, it would be about a 46-yard field goal.
I don't even think their punter could even get to the end zone.
That's Petrie, and gets the first down and more, out of bounds at about the 21-yard line.
Petrie's been really showing off today. He's really had a great game. You know, running the ball, I believe he's nearing that 100-yard mark if he has not reached it already. One thing that needs to be noticed for them right now, though, is the running game is killing the clock, and you only have about 20 minutes left to score and get ahead, and you have to do more than just double your points here. You have to make stops as well, and Millard West has done a great job of pounding the rock as well.
Quain's on the keeper. Couldn't get the open field tackle. Turns the corner. Touchdown, Quainton!
That one's going to be called back there. I believe there's going to be a legal block in the back. There's a flag on the play. That one's definitely coming back.
Looks like it is going to be on Millard North. It is going to be called back. Millard North student section not happy about that one.
I mean, we brought up the student section early in the pregame, and Millard West has just not been there. We gave them credit for during the Omaha Northwest game. They definitely showed up, but now Millard North, with significantly less people, may I add, is completely dominating in the home field advantage, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, Millard West student section hasn't been as loud as they were last week, but that can change.
It's all about momentum at this point, and it's 1st and 12. That was a good play call, but it's going to hamper them severely.
1st and 12. Looks like Quainton's on the keeper, pitches up to Weindl, and a fumble on the play, and it looks like Millard West ball!
That ball just popped out there, and that is yet again another fumble by Millard North. So first the penalty takes off the touchdown, which we've seen so much from Millard North, a very sloppy game. Add on the fumble. That's 2 turnovers, 3 fumbles, 5 fumbles already on the season, and we're only in the second game.
Pretty sure that was Tanner Titus on the strip. What a great play by him. Just absolutely hammering this game right now. Millard West gets back on offense with the opportunity to run up the score even more.
And that was one adjustment that I said that they needed to make, was to control that outside running there. That has been a big problem for them, especially with an option team. It's hard to stop them as Peterson.
Nathan Peterson, gain of about 3 on the play. Almost broke free for another big gain, but just strapped up at the end.
That's why I stopped talking there. I thought he was about to go. He had a wide open space there, just got a little bit clogged up by the offensive line. And that was the one thing about the offensive line that I really had a little bit of time struggling with in the first half watching, was they kind of just seemed a little bit big, like they weren't mobile as they usually are.
Peterson takes the snap. Going to keep it, and it's going to be roughed up at about the 20-yard line. Going to get a loss of about 3.
Stuffed up from the beginning there. It's going to be 3rd and 8. So, yeah, loss of 2. This is interesting territory here because that punt is probably going to get to the 40 at the max. So, if you're Millard West, you got to run the ball here. You're too deep in your own territory to try and go for a pass. Run the ball. Hopefully Nathan Peterson gets you maybe 3 or 4 yards to set up a little bit more manageable field position for your defense.
Peterson going to hand that one off, bro. Nathan Peterson, and he's gone once again. Out of bounds at the 40-yard line for the first down and more.
Honestly surprised they didn't call a holding on what I believe was number 3.
Jackson Newman.
Yeah, I believe he was holding there actually on number 11. That is Noah Bagnowski, who's had a pretty good game offensively. But that is good for Millard West. I mean, they were able to get yardage. Now they're at the 40.
Brody Peterson takes a snap. Back to pass. Peterson looking deep for Williams. Caught! And down at about the 45-yard line for Jackson Williams.
And this is what Millard West needs to do right now. You have 5 minutes left. I believe that was play action, if I was correct there. Yeah, play action. That's what the play action can do. What they just need to grow on, and they have to do it quick because Nathan Peterson, he is a senior. You only have 1 more year left with him. As long as they can develop Brody's mechanics to be better under pressure, try and evade the rush as much as you can. That was a great job throw by him, by the way. As long as they can continue to do that, they should be perfect offensively.
Peterson going to hand that one off, and gain of about 5 on the play.
That is Nathan Peterson, who we've seen again. I am guaranteeing he's over the 200 rushing yard mark right now. He has had one heck of a game.
I agree. It's still a 2-possession game. About 4.5 minutes left to go in the third quarter. And Millard West already in great field position at the 40-yard line. As you said, Enrique Merez, he's had a great night so far on extra points. Maybe we can test out his range a little bit if the Wildcats don't get into the end zone.
I'm assuming around the 30 here. That's going to be about a 45-yarder. So maybe if you get between the 20 and the 30, you have a good chance.
Peterson back to pass. Finds Williams again. What a catch by Jackson Williams.
He's looking for the flag there. I would assume that there will be a flag there, too. Very tight coverage by, I believe, was number 7, Jaden Hogan Marshall there. That tight coverage. Would not have been shocked if there was pass interference there. And that's what Williams was looking for. But now it's 3rd and 6. Great play call. A little bit shaky coverage, and probably should have been a flag there.
Yeah, I agree. Got a little excited there. I thought it was caught. I saw him going for the one-hander. I thought he put that down, but
he has pretty good hands, too. Honestly, a little bit surprised he didn't catch that.
Peterson mishandled the snap. Going to run with it. Can he get the first down? And he looks like he does. We just talked about how Brody Peterson, not much of a running quarterback, but now with a mishandled snap, was able to get the first.
I honestly think that was the designed QB run, but he mishandled the snap, which might have made Millard North's defense think, that's a pass, let's back up. And that left wide open room there, and the reason I think that was because Nathan Peterson instinctively blocked the linebacker there, and one heck of a move there by Brody Peterson. You don't see quarterbacks making a man miss like that. That's what you see from players like Nathan Peterson.
Brody Peterson going to take that snap. Going to pitch it out to Williams in open space. Going to get the first down and more. And he might go a little distance. Touchdown, Jackson Williams!
That's the one thing I knew Jackson could do. He has got some serious speed on him right there. And that was a pass. I believe that was a pass. Might have counted as an option there. That's a touchdown pass for Brody. And that is an incredible job by Jackson Williams. Now his 2nd touchdown of the game.
Yeah, I mean, just a great play. Jackson Williams, what a great way. Just showing the speed in the open space and then makes a man miss and just gets into the end zone. What a great play by Jackson Williams. Gets his 2nd touchdown of the night. And Enrique Merez looking to go 5 for 5. And he is perfect on extra points once again. Enrique Merez will be right back for the Millard North offense. And we're back here for the kickoff as we attempt to see if Millard North can get some more points on the board.
This game is starting to get out of reach here for Millard North. I feel like once it gets time to the fourth quarter, or actually the next Wildcat score that the Mustangs can't answer, I feel like that's when they might start putting in some of those younger players, maybe bench Quaintance, just see what players behind him can do.
Deep kick for Murphy, fielded about the 12. And that's an open space, and couldn't get the balance back. Ben Weindel going to get down at about the 40-ish yard line.
Looks a little shaken up after that. Kind of took, yeah, he's holding that knee there. Looks like he's struggling to get up. Hope everything's okay.
Hey, someone will be at West tonight, right? I can take this stuff back.
And, Millard North, that's a great return out to the 40 there. More importantly, that was almost a touchdown. Millard West, their struggles have been controlling the offensive the line of scrimmage and also kickoffs. That has been a really big problem for them this year, and that could have gone to the house.
So now 1st and 10 for the Mustangs at the 40. And Quaintance on a screen. And that's going to be wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage. That was Jaden Hogan Marshall on the reception. Going to lose about a yard.
Great tackle there by Millard West. One of those open field tackles that Millard North can really put you in a trouble, put you in a loop for one of those types of plays. Millard West has held their own against those, surprisingly, something we didn't see at all last year.
2nd and 11 now for the Mustangs. We see Hogan Marshall once again, probably taking the spot of Weindel. Gonna Quaintance on the keeper. Gonna get stuffed up at the line of scrimmage. Probably a gain of 1 at most. It's gonna be a 3rd and long.
That was clearly an option play there, seeing how long Quaintance held on to that one. And honestly, he made the right read there. There was no right read. And he was able to get, it looks like 1 yard, positive yard there, 3rd and 9. And this Millard West defense has really been holding their own as of late. Let's see if they can continue it.
3rd and 9. Big down here for the Mustangs if they want to get back into this game.
I would not be surprised with the pass here whatsoever. It's been open all game. It's just been a matter of the players catching it.
Quaintance back to pass. Hits McMorris on a screen, makes a move. And it's going to get wrapped up with about a 2-yard gain.
Yeah, I would think it's about time for Millard North to start looking at the passing game there. It's been a lot open compared to the run game. And it's going to be interesting to see what Millard West is going to do offensively. You got 1:40 left in the 3rd, and you have a pretty comfortable lead right now. So I'm fine Millard West here.
Brady Braw catches the punt, makes a nice move, trucks a man, and going to get down about the 38-yard line.
Yeah, that field position definitely helps out Millard West when deciding what to call here. I think it's time to let Brody cook. He's been doing pretty good in the passing game. This rush has been starting to be a little bit more picked up by Millard West's offensive line. It hasn't been getting to Brody as much. I think it's about time you let him loose and see what he can do in what is kind of garbage time, but at the same time, development time for a quarterback like him.
And now Brody Peterson still in the game. Going to take the snap. Going to hand that one off to Peterson and going to get back to the line of scrimmage for a gain of 1.
Yeah, that's one of those situations right there where, you got to run it, honestly. Maybe you kill out the clock for this next minute 10-ish here, and then just see what you can do in the last 12 minutes of this game. You're up comfortably here. This is why I feel like it's about time to let Brody kind of experience a full game as a quarterback when it comes to the passing game. He hasn't really had too much of a chance here.
Brody Peterson going to hand that one off again. That might be a loss of about a yard.
Probably going to be 3rd and 10, yeah. So, honestly, deep shot here. You got 30 seconds left. What do you have to lose? Throw it up to Jackson Williams. He's been open pretty much the entire time here. Timeout has actually been called on the field. It's official timeout.
It looks like to be a player down on the floor. That's going to be Petrie, a big player for Millard North this game. He's had a lot of great plays.
A little bit on that knee there. That you don't want to see that whatsoever if you're Millard North, holding your breath right now. Looks like he was able to get off okay, luckily. And that's two players now we've seen from Millard North kind of get shaken up a little bit. We had number 1, Ben Weindel, and now their starting running back, their star running back for this game actually, and Brian Petrie. So you got to start looking at things a little bit cautiously here if you're Millard North. Maybe in the fourth quarter you start putting in those younger guys because you don't want these players to get hurt.
Now Brody Peterson back in the shotgun, ready to take the snap. Drops back to pass, feels the pressure, deep shot to Williams, and dropped.
He's punching himself for that one. He knows he should have caught that one. He's the type of player that drop is going to come back in his mind 2 years later and be like, I should have caught that, you know? There's still
another player down here for Millard North. This one looks to be, might just be a cramp.
Yeah, that's probably a cramp there. You know, you still don't want to see any of these. 19 seconds left. It does allow some time to think things out. Looks like the helmet off probably is going to be a cramp there. Yeah, it's kind of a weird vantage point to try and see, but it looks like he's holding on to that hamstring. I believe that is the offensive lineman, number 76, Aaron Dam. Not 100% sure on that, though.
We'll be right back after this injury timeout. Aaron Dam able to get back up and walking on his own might back to the sideline. I'm pretty sure that was more than a cramp.
That's Barrett Luce, actually. We're number 78. Had a little bit of trouble seeing him, but, you know, you hope everything's okay. Yeah, holding on. It looks like it's the knee there, knee or hamstring, and as an offensive lineman, you never want to see that. As he's off the field now, so they can finally get back to the play of a
Sean
punt.
Murphy to punt. Bit of a high snap. Going to take the kick, and that one going to be deep at about the 20, and gets a Millard West bounce, and down at about the 2-yard line. Great coverage by the punt team to get them deep in their own territory.
That is an incredible punt there by Murphy. That is one of the top punts probably you'll see and throughout all of Class A. You don't see that. There, it looks like they're going to spot that at the 4-yard line. That is incredible. Honestly, you could have let that one roll out a little bit longer probably, and maybe that did get down to the 1. But, you know, dragging that out, trying to extend it to be a 99-yard drive isn't going to happen often. But if you're Millard North, this is not good whatsoever.
Especially with your top 2 running backs out of the game.
It's going to rely on Acquaintance right now.
Looks like Petrie is in, and Petrie or Acquaintance with the handoff. Going to get stuffed up about 2 yards in.
Great play fake. Not everyone faked out there, but that's going to be the end of the third quarter. Millard West up 35-13 over Millard North.
And we'll be right back for the fourth quarter. And we're back here for the fourth quarter of action. And that one's going to be a handoff, and might be short of the first down. Doesn't look like he is, and it's going to be a first down.
Moving the chains there. It looked to be a very professional play spot. Millard North student section, it's been much louder and a little bit more taunting back and forth between Millard North winning it, actually, in a weird turn of events.
1st and 10 for the Mustangs. Hand off to Petrie. And going to be about a gain of 5.
That was a great run there. You know, he didn't touch the ground for quite some time, so that roll probably added on probably an extra 2 or 3 yards onto that run.
2nd and 3 from the 22. Millard North out of the danger zone.
Yeah, I was definitely getting to the 22 right now is perfect for Millard North, but this game looks to be out of reach, you know, with 10:50 left to play.
And Quayton's going to keep it. Looks to throw for Petrie. Got the pass completed down the field. And it's going to be out of bounds at about the 40-yard line. We got another Millard North player down.
That's not good. That is not a cramp.
I think that's Ben Weindel once again.
He got hurt on that kickoff return, and it looks to be the same leg there that he got hurt. So I wouldn't play him for the rest of this game. You want to make sure that he's healthy first and foremost. And besides special teams, he hasn't made too much of an impact besides that initial run. So Millard North struggling with injuries here. It's not something you ever want to see.
Quaintance going to hand that ball off. It's going to be stuffed up. That was Petrie. Stuffed up at the line of scrimmage. Going to be 2nd and 10.
Second and 10 for Millard North. So if I'm Millard North here, I think it's time that you really have to start relying on that pass game. It's been there so much, and it may just be you're not trained enough on offense to do it, but now is not a better time to do it. You're down by so much. You're probably not going to win this game, so now is like the perfect time.
Quaintance launching up the beat ball. McMorris caught into the open field. It's going to be a touchdown, Isaiah McMorris.
What did I tell you? Just got to start. That pass game has been there the entire game. You know, this is still like you said, this is a young secondary, so you can exploit it. And Isaiah McMorris, that is a matchup nightmare. You know, he is standing at 6'1", 175, which is taller than most of these corners and defensive backs for Millard West. So, I'll be surprised if they go for 2 here. And it does look like they are going to go for 2. So, in this situation, what would you do personally, Miguel?
I mean, I think you just run the triple option. It's worked for you for most of the game. So, honestly, as much as I really don't like the triple option as a play because it's so overused in high school football, I think it works here.
I don't know. You're at the 2-yard line, so the playbook is not open that much.
And that's Quaintance just going to get sacked there.
I believe the ball actually came out, but that is a great defensive stop there by Millard West. They kind of expected a pass game, you know, that they got to start bringing pressure because if this, you know, it's only 35-19, so it's still not like completely out of question that Millard North is going to lose this game. It's probably going to happen. I would say about 90% chance, but Millard West stopping that right there, that kind of puts the hammer off the shelf and starting banging on the nail in the coffin. But the game's not over yet. You still got 9 minutes to play. And I could see a potential onside kick here. You know, it's not out of the question. There's 9 minutes left. You're not out of the game entirely. So, And Millard West has kind of struggled a little bit on those shorter punts, or the shorter kicks, rather. So if you're able to get a high bounce, potentially, get it to knock off a Millard West player up on the by the 50 there, it's going to be a pretty good steal of possession for Millard North. So I don't think it's out of the question.
It's out of the question, Logan.
Really
61-yard pass, and I think that was Tanner Titus on the sack on the 2-point conversion.
He's done a great job so far. This entire defensive line has done pretty good. And that Millard North student section is completely outdoing Millard West. And Millard West is known to have one of the most crazy student sections in the state.
And high kick there for Stackhouse. Going to get fielded. Looks like Jackson Williams almost into the open field. Brought down hard at about the 42-yard line.
He put a nice stiff arm on his man there. I'm pretty sure that is number 13, Aiden Stackhouse, actually. Who is the kicker, and he also plays linebacker. So, that was a pretty good job. And Jackson Williams, he's also not the tallest player on the field either. He's not the biggest player on the field, but he's still very physical.
Brody Peterson still in the game here, as it is still about a 16-point differential, as Nathan Peterson going to take the snap, or take the handoff, about gain of 2.
I think Millard North is recognizing that that they're going to run the ball, which is why it's not a better this is the best time to run the play action here. 9 minutes left. You want to try and seal this game. Like you said, it's a 16-point game, so you still need the 2-point conversions, all of that to even remotely get close without Millard West scoring. So I feel like this is the perfect time for a play action. You're in the shotgun. You're in the formation for it right now, so it's not out of the question.
Brody Peterson back to pass. Looking over the middle, and right out of the hands of Williams and out of the hands of Leo White. Almost had the interception.
And Jackson Williams, that's 2 key drops for the night on him, but he has still had a pretty good game. I'm assuming by the end of this game, he's going to have about probably 60, 70 yards total, especially that helps with that option touchdown that he had late in the third. So with this 3rd and 8, you kind of can get fancy with the playbook if you feel like the momentum's in your favor.
Shotgun formation. Peterson back to pass again, avoids the sack. Hits it to Peterson, and he's going to get stuffed up at the line of scrimmage.
That's the first time we've seen all night that Millard North's been able to make one of those tackles. We haven't seen that often, if at all. But great job by Brody Peterson evading the rush there. You can see him down, congratulating the offensive lineman, giving them a pat on the shoulder. And that was super close from being a breakaway score. That wasn't by that tackle by number 35, Michael Beagley. It would have been hard for Millard North to even try and come back from this one.
And it looks like we're going to take a quick timeout. Millard North will get charged for the timeout, their first timeout of the second half. Still a 4th and 9 on the 43-yard line. Wildcats still up by 16. I mean, when you really think about it, Millard West has, especially last year, really struggled late in the game, late in the fourth quarter. That's where most of their losses were other teams coming back. You had week 1, I believe.
Creighton Prep was one of those that stuck in my head.
Lincoln East also, Elkhorn South. All of these were comebacks that other teams had made against them.
And that defense was a big weakness for Millard West last year. They really cleaned it up. You have to give congratulations for that quick turnaround. The question is now, this is a Millard North team that isn't that great. Can they do it against those top-tier teams?
Sean Murphy on a deep punt. A lot of airtime. Might get another Millard West bounce. And it's going to be downed at about the 10-yard line.
Yeah, it seems like after that, a punt that landed Millard North at the 4-yard line. Special teams coordinator definitely talked him over and said, hey, you don't have to down it right away. Let that thing take a bounce. You take the risk of taking a Millard North bounce with it. But that initial punt, that one that landed Millard North at the 4, definitely had a chance of being pinned down at the 1. And that was a good job of letting them roll out. It's now at the 10-yard line. 90 yards of field here for Millard North to work with. How much of it can they actually use, though? And you are set up nice and even at the middle there.
Charlie Quaintance gonna pump fake. He's got Banganowski deep, and he's gonna into the open field. Can Keegan Mountain catch him? And he trips up at the 10.
What a play there by Millard North. You know, that, like you said, that was Banganowski. Looks like he might be hurt a little bit. Holding on to that knee there. That's not a good sign to see at all, especially with that type of trip. You gotta hope it's just a cramp. One of those star players from Millard North. That's a tough fall that he took there. But great job by Millard North exposing the top. And now after Millard West, you got to start thinking, got to cover the pass. That has been there all game. I've said that the entire game. Millard North finally realizing it's open. Now Millard West, you have to make that adjustment.
Definitely agree there. And he's still down on the ground. Trainers tending to him. 8 minutes left to go, and Millard North, they could make it a one-score game here if they get the touchdown and the two-point conversion after that. So
yeah.
We saw Millard West successfully pull off a two-point conversion last week against Elkhorn South. I mean, it's not completely out of reach.
Yeah, but they also missed the two-point conversion that they just had. So, I don't know. You said it was a 16-point game. It's going to be a tough one for Millard West to pull this one out. We kind of thought it was going to be an even game, and luckily Bagnowski was able to get up. That was a huge if he lost, they probably lost him for the rest of this drive, but if he was out for the entire game, able to put pressure on it, which is a great sign, but if he was out for the entire game, I would expect Millard West to win this one with how much time was left. But, now you're looking at it, Millard North, it's going to be tough for them to come back, but it's in the realm of possibility. But it's going to be a tough hole for them to climb out of.
So ball on the 11-yard line. Quaintance on the key, or handed off to Petrie. It's going to be about a 3-yard gain, probably to be about the 8-yard line.
One thing I don't like about the 11-yard line when you're inside the red zone is you have to get 10 yards to get that first down. And if you're obviously trying to score, but the problem is you have to get to the 1 to get that new set of downs. And that is so hard to do, so hard to game plan sometimes because you only have, right now, they only have about 18 yards of field to work with counting the back of the end zone.
Quaintance on the keeper, gets on the slant, and touchdown, McMorris!
Beat his man there. That was a great job by McMorris, having himself one heck of a game.
I believe that's his third touchdown of the night. Second or third, I'm not sure. But, Millard North has made this a 10-point game after being down 16.
No matter what's going to happen with this game, Millard West is going to look back in the film room and say, we got to focus on defense. We can't let up points like this. They're looking like prime Atlanta Falcons right now, You're blowing a lead right now, which seemed to be a 35-13 lead. That's not something that you blow in high school regulation as well. They only have 5 seconds left before this becomes a delay of game. It's got to be quick here. And they're going to call it.
Delay of game here for Millard North.
This could be potentially a smart move by Millard North. You're getting yourself 5 extra yards to work with. It's 5 yards that you have to make back to even get back to the original line of scrimmage. But getting yourself at now the 7-yard line is much better than working at the 2 because you're allowed a little bit more space, but they are going to go for the field goal here, actually.
Yeah, Aiden Stackhouse here to kick the extra point, which would make it a 9-point game. So it's still a 2-score game. And that one's going to be low. And Aiden Stackhouse misses another extra point, and it's going to be a 10-point game here for the Wildcats.
And that really helps out the Wildcats in more ways than you think because you already needed the 3. You needed the touchdown, 6, the field goal, 7, and then another field goal for 10. And Stackhouse has struggled all game with field goals, so this is that works a lot better for Millard West than you actually think. If you break down the statistics of it, that Stackhouse has not had a great game kicking whatsoever. It seemed like using the little artificial tee there, it was a little glow on the ground, really might have hurt the snap there. But these special team woes continue.
And we'll be right back for take a quick timeout for the kickoff. And we're back here. Newman and Holtman are back deep to receive the kickoff.
Now he's onside kick territory, actually, 7 minutes. There could be a chance for a surprise one. You got a nice little hole forming on that left side there. A little bit more scrunched up.
And another high kick. This one, Bra will take as he'll get to about the 35-yard line on a short return.
Millard West, now you can't run out the clock. That's not you can't do that now. You have to actually go to score. You have to score to seal this one. Make it a 17-point game here. And if they don't score here, problems are going to start arising quick. And I really like Coach Pete's decision to keep Brody in the game for this entire time. He needs this experience to grow, especially in a close game like this.
Brody Peterson takes the snap, drops back to pass, and he finds Thaden just off the hands of Trace Thaden.
And Trace Thaden, he is massive at the same time. He is 6'7", 225 pounds. So the fact that he's moving that quick in the first place is incredible. And just off the fingertips there was a little bit of an overthrow by Brody, but still, that could have been huge for Millard West momentum-wise.
So I think really the accuracy for Brody Peterson has really been a great part of his game. Brody Peterson going to take the snap. Peterson, and he's found a big hole, but down at the 50-yard line.
I would not be surprised if statistically this is Brody's best game yet. Last week, that was that important milestone of 100 yards passing. I think he's gotten pretty close to it, if I'm correct. He's probably got around 80 yards right now. Efficiency's been there. Last game was only 52%, but this is probably more like a 60-65% game from him so far. He's been doing really well for himself.
Brody Peterson going to take the snap, back to pass again. Hits Jackson Williams in the flat. Jackson Williams gets the first down and more. Jackson Williams down the sideline. Jackson Williams going to go the distance. Touchdown, Jackson Williams!
They called him out of bounds there at the 32-yard line. No, the 32-yard line. That is not a touchdown. Coach Pete furious with that call right now. And from our vantage point, that was a touchdown, but definitely an interesting call there. The Millard West student section not happy about that whatsoever, and they have every right to. That looked to be he was inside.
I mean, they called that dead pretty late. When they called that dead, he was already basically in the end zone.
That's an interesting call there. I'm not sure if I agree with that one too much.
Peterson going to keep that one, and he gets the first down and more. Brody Peterson going to get down at the 12-yard line.
Brody, he can run too. When I compared him to Aaron Rodgers, it wasn't for no reason. He actually has very reminiscent of his game. Good arm strength, able to evade the rush, and he has a little bit of a more like Patrick Mahomes type feel now with that run there, showing that he can be very mobile, and he is really taking the team down to the 13 is huge with 5 minutes left here. This is something that we're used to seeing with Millard West.
1st and 10 at the 13. And low snap for Peterson. He's going to have to take this one. He's going to gain maybe 1 or 2 yards, gets to that 10.
Smart job there, just to dive. You had the blitzing linebacker just right there. So keep yourself safe. You're only a sophomore, so you don't want to put your body on the line quite yet. You still got this. If he's able to get a good offer, which I would not be surprised if he does, he could laying himself on the line right now is not a smart business decision, but he's been pretty clean so far. Hasn't had an interception, almost one, but he's been playing very well today.
Brody Peterson back to pass again. And he hits. Looks like Jackson Williams. Touchdown!
Jackson Williams has 3 touchdowns on the day. Millard West running up the score 41-25. Ladies and gentlemen, I feel like this one is over. Fat Lady ain't singing yet, though. There's still some time.
Jackson Williams, 11-yard touchdown catch. And Brody Peterson, I believe that's his second or third touchdown pass of the night. Enrique Merez, 6 for 6. And he does! 6 for 6. Perfect for Enrique Merez.
If Millard West does get the ball back with about 2 minutes left, probably, if they are able to get inside field goal range, let's put that at about the 30-yard line, why not test it at this point? I mean, you've secured yourself most likely a victory here. 42-25 with 4:59 left. But if you are able to get into field goal range, why not take a shot? I mean, that could be really key, knowing what your kicker's long is in game to figure out what is going on. Millard West has just done a great job so far. And Millard North, looks like a little bit of them are filing out right now. Looks to be extended break here. Here comes out the kickoff unit for both teams. And if you're Millard North here, it is about time that you get yourself a nice return. You have got to get yourself probably to the 40 to even try and get at this one, but this one looks to be out of reach.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that yet just because there's 5 minutes to go. A lot can happen in 5 minutes.
Millard North doing a little kick chant, thinking that it might do something, but that was an official. That was the officials were the reason why that was slowing down so much. That was not on Millard West at all.
Sean Murphy to kick. Kind of a shallow kick here. Received at about the 10. That's Windell once again. Windell pushing through defenders. And he's going to get down about the 33.
A little bit scrappy there between number 9 and number 12 of Millard North and Millard West, respectively. And the emotions are going to start riding a little bit higher here, if you're Millard North. What do you got to lose? You're down 42-25 here. What has been an offensive battle for both teams. I'm not suggesting to fight players or anything like that, but I wouldn't be surprised if something happens. Just blowing off some steam.
Charlie Quaintance in for the Mustangs at quarterback still. Trying to come back. He's down 17. Quaintance hits McMorris. McMorris on a nice move. McMorris trying to find open field. McMorris finds open field again. Wildcat defense and out of bounds at about the 26.
Smart job by McMorris there to get out of bounds. And that passing game, it's really starting. It only took Millard North about 3.5 quarters to realize what they had there and how wide open it's been. But 20, you're down a lot right now. It's about time that you grow on to the offense. And this has been a great job so far by Millard North, getting down the field quick.
So 4:39 left. Millard North isn't completely out of it yet. I mean, they still have a pretty good chance. And that one's going to be Windell. Could he get for the first down? Stretches.
I think he got it.
I think he got the first down.
Typically when that marker is knocked down there, the line to get, typically that is going to be a first down out of bounds. So that's good job there by Windell.
Quaintance takes a snap. Back to pass once again. Rolls out to his right. Hits the end zone. Incomplete. Great defense there.
Incredible job there by Brady Brow. And great coverage just in general. That's one of those tight ones in the front corner of the end zone. You're on the side, though, so you have to play very physical. Otherwise, that receiver is going to win. But you can't play too physical. Otherwise, you're going to get pass interference, which would have been a questionable call if it got called. But still, at the same time, not out of the realm of possibility. Was definitely some pushing and shoving when that ball was thrown.
Charlie Quaintance on 2nd and 10, and a little bit of miscommunication with McMorris on where he was supposed to be, on the route he was supposed to run. So it'll be a 3rd and 10 at the 20.
They're lucky that ball got as far as it did. If that ball landed about the 17-ish yard line, 17, 18 yard line, and if that was back 2 more, that's a fumble. There's a Millard West guy right there, might take it to the house.
4:11 on the clock now. 3rd and 10. This is a big down for the Mustangs if they want to come back in this game. This time he does hit McMorris, trying to make a move. McMorris doesn't get there. Tony Faya on the tackle.
And here comes, I have to assume, that the field goal unit is coming out here. It's been shaky. They're going to go for it. I would send out the field goal unit here. It seems like you've had a bunch of kicking woes. You've missed 2 already. You might as well, instead of trying and come back, what could be hard to come back from, just take the points. False start.
It might be, yeah, I believe it's so. It is a false start. False start on Millard North.
And now that field goal is looking kind of nice right about now. That is definitely out of range for any kicker. Maybe Enrique might have been able to potentially get it, but I don't know. The idea of not taking the points there when you had them is kind of coming back to bite them a little bit. They had a chance there to try and catch up, potentially only go down 14.
They're still down 17. I think a touchdown and going for it on 4th was probably the best option for them. Charlie Quaintance back to pass. And he hits Windell with a 1st down and a touchdown!
What a move by Windell!
Ben Windell gets the touchdown. And the Mustangs are within 11 here if they can get the extra point off.
What a move by Windell. Put the man in crutches after that one. Wow. Right at about the 2-yard line. What a miss. And I believe they're going for 2 on this one. Not sure if I agree too much with that. You only be down 10 with it. You'd be down 9 if you get the 2. And if you don't, you're down 11. I'm not sure if I like this decision there as the clock continues to run down. You got to get this one off quick.
And it looks like they will call the delay of game.
I'm not sure what Millard North was trying to do there. I still don't understand the idea of not taking the points right now, this extra point. 4th and 12, going for it, you had to because you weren't in field goal range, but you just were. So ultimately, that was a good decision to end up not taking the points that were there. But I don't know what they're doing going for 2 here. I don't feel like that was a smart idea. You'd still be down by 2.
A lot of movement on the line there. Charlie Quaintance takes the throw and just out of reach for Banganowski. And it's going to be a no good. Still down by 11 here.
That's why I don't understand not taking the points there. It would still be a 2-possession game regardless. Take the points that you have there. Makes it much more manageable because now you need 2 touchdowns to even get up over the Wildcats. And now, instead of having that insurance policy of taking the extra point, you're down by 11, and the only way you're going to win is if you get 14. And in 3:07, probably not going to happen.
And we will be right back for the Millard West kickoff. And we're back here for Millard North's kickoff. Aiden Stackhouse hasn't gotten the whistle from the official yet. And now it's good to go. And just a really quick squib kick picked up by Jackson Cahoy.
Fighting for the yardage there.
It's going to get past the 45-yard line to about the 46.
That was kind of, it's hard to do onside kicks because it depends on the ball placement of the foot and all of that. So that's kind of the best thing that they have to do there is kind of do an angled squib kick, which is what they did. They got an unlucky high bounce over there to Cahoy, who pounded his way to 5 yards.
So from the 46-yard line, Brody Peterson will start the drive with about 3:01 to go.
I say just let him do what he wants to do here. He got the game wrapped up. Just let him throw.
And that's Nathan Peterson on the carry. Nathan Peterson, he could go for another one down the sideline. Nathan Peterson stiff arms a man. Touchdown, Nathan Peterson.
He has tied his record for most touchdowns in a game with 4. Millard West continues to run up the score on Millard North. And this game has gotten out of hand. You know, I was on board of letting Brody Peterson get developing as a quarterback. But if you have a reliable running back by Nathan Peterson back there, why not just give it to him when you're down late? I mean, when you're up late like this, that helps out a lot. And I highly doubt Millard West is going to see a chance to get the ball again. But if it does, I wouldn't be surprised if Peterson breaks his record.
Enrique Merez, and he gets his 7th extra point. 7 for 7 on extra points here for Enrique Merez. 2:48 left to go in this game. We'll be right back for the next kickoff. And we're back here for Sean Murphy's kickoff. 2:48 to go. That drive only took 13 seconds off the clock. And Millard West back up by 18 points.
I think now is the time for Millard North to start putting in some of the younger players to get some playing time here. This game is out of reach for sure. Down 18, that's a 3-score game at the least. Trying to even get up more.
And Sean Murphy kicking off. It's going to be fielded by Devin Wilson. Devin Wilson stepped up at the 20. Only going to get about a gain of 1.
And this has been a great job this has been a great display for both teams, actually. You know, both teams, Millard West played against Elkhorn South last week, and they showed that they could potentially be a second-round team in the state playoffs. But Millard North, they need to ride this one. Assuming that this is a loss, maybe need to start looking at the drawing board here offensively, because the past game's been there, and they are just now realizing that. So I would not be surprised if once again we see another pass to someone like McMorris.
Charlie Quaintance under center. Going to take the pass. Hit as he throws. It might be another interception. Picked off.
Now I think Millard West is going to bench the starters there. great pressure, great defensive job all around. Having the pressure, having the interception, hit as he threw. So you have to give Quentin some credit there. He tried to just throw it out and get away from it. Looks like the officials are going to take a timeout here, or maybe a Millard West timeout potentially. It is going to be a timeout.
Brody Bra on the interception. Great play by him, the former quarterback, turned DB. But, I mean, just a great play. And great play by the defensive line. Charlie Quain's really getting up in his face, and he got hit as he threw. So it was, kind of a thrown up heave. And just Brady Bra, perfect coverage, able to get down there and secure the interception. And now Millard West back on offense, possibly to run up the score once again.
For Quaintons, that was all that you could do there. I mean, there was no one else open. That was your primary guy. You couldn't go to your second read because if you did, you're taking a sack by two people that are about 250 pounds. So it was smart there by Quaintons just to get the ball off. Obviously you don't want to see an interception for Millard North, but this game's out of reach. And Brody is going to stay in, it looks like. Looking for Peterson in that huddle. He is not there, so looks as if Nathan Peterson's night is over, which allows Brody Peterson to get some throwing yards in and practice that arm of his, start slinging the rock.
Looks like Jackson Williams is also out. It looks like it's going to be Chase Holtman and Charlie Kozad, or Corey Kozad. And that carry going to take them to about the 35-yard line.
One thing I've liked from Coach Pete, and this was the main concern I had this year with Brody being the full-time starter, was is it going to be hard for Coach Pete to realize, hey, you obviously want your son to do well, but you also have to think about the entirety of the team. And I have to give Coach Pete a lot of credit here. He's done a great job balancing the two. And, Brody's now running in the plays, which typically they have the wide receiver or tight end do that. So I'm starting to think that this is a special play designed for Brody here to throw it. This has been a great job, a great game all around by the coaching staff.
And that's going to be Chase Holtman on the carry. Chase Holtman makes a man miss. Chase Holtman, he can go the distance. And it's going to be a touchdown, Chase Holtman.
That one was close there. And this is the Millard West that we know. Throwing back to the Tristan Gomez days, what was 2 years ago? That was when we had scores like this, 55-31. The offensive powerhouse that is Millard West seems to be making a renaissance here, which is now in the form of Brody Peterson, oddly enough.
Enrique Merez on his 7th extra point. And it looks like that one's also good. Enrique Merez keeps up his perfect extra point percentage.
Did miss the one against Elkhorn South, but so far he is making the case for the best kicker in Class A. I mean, he has had a monster of a game.
Definitely. So we'll be back. 1:38 left to go. Millard North still, can they have some juice in them to get one more touchdown in? We'll see then. And we're back here for possibly Millard North's last drive, 56-31. Honestly, Millard West, especially in this last fourth quarter, has really blown the game wide open. And, Millard West, especially with their running backs, they've really tired this Millard North defense out. And that's going to be something that they need to watch out for, because running is a big part of high school football. And if they can't contain the run, then they're going to be out of it.
Yeah, this is a Millard North team that is still trying to figure out what its entire identity is from the bottom down, from the bottom up rather. And that's a great kick right there. But Millard North just needs to figure out what they might need to change some things offensively.
And McMorris going to take the kick to about the 21. And now we've got some young guys here in the defense who are looking to get some playing time.
And I do not see Quaintance out there, actually. I believe that is number 14, Eric Oldenburns. No, wait.
Oldenburns.
That's actually Andrew Goatsman. That's at the quarterback there, I'm pretty sure.
Some new guys on the Millard West defense. You've got senior Logan Voss, Max Dahir, some more other young guys.
That is Andrew Goatsman out there from Millard North. I think Millard North right now, they're just going to run out this clock. 56-31. You can't really come back from that one in general. Even if there's still a quarter and a half left to play, it's going to be hard to come back from that. And there's only a minute left to play here. I think they're just going to run out the clock. Don't want Millard West to put up even more on you. So it's going to be, I think it's pretty straightforward, the game plan here for Millard North. Just run out the clock.
And that's going to be a run up the middle. Still just looking to run out the clock.
I actually think that's Evan Hansen out there at quarterback. Yeah, I believe that's number 18, Evan Hansen, now for quarterback. So hopefully third time's a charm for calling out the right guy here. But there's only 30 seconds left to play for Millard North in this Week 2 matchup. And both teams going down completely different directions here.
Clock winding down. They're going to have time for one more play. Snap taken. That's Windell. And he's going to get stuffed up. That's going to be a first down, but that will be the end of it. Or
it's 2 seconds left.
2 seconds left.
2 seconds left to play.
2 seconds left to play with a first down.
I say just take the long shot here. This is the game. Might as well just let the boys go ahead and do what they always want to do and score a touchdown as time expires, a passing touchdown. From this far out, it would look to be about a 68-yard attempt if you do intend to throw, but it looks like they're just going to kneel this. No, they're going to hand the ball off.
And that will be the end of it. The Wildcats take their first win of the season, 56-31 against the Millard North Mustangs. And honestly, this is a great game for the Wildcats as, they take their first win of the season. And honestly, this was just a great showing on both sides of the ball. Offense, Brody Peterson really got cooking. And honestly, Nathan Peterson, 4 touchdowns. Just, oh my God, absolutely amazing show on this offense. Defense still could use some work here and there, but I think they played really great tonight. What do you think, Logan?
My thought going into the season, the offense was going to be fine. I had complete faith in Brody. I had complete faith in Coach Pete. I had complete faith in Nathan Peterson. I knew the offense was going to be fine. Wide receiver position was a little bit iffy. In my head, I was wondering who's going to get that starting job. And Jackson Williams has just flourished as the starter. And defensively, this is kind of a weird spot that you're in. Because you are a good defensive team. You can hold your own against a lower tier opponent. If it's a middle tier opponent, it's going to be a close game. You'll still do fine. But when it gets to that upper tier, like we saw with Elkhorn South, you're going to be really playing from behind. And 56 points is nothing to laugh at, regardless on who you're playing against.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And as for Millard North, their offense is lights out, especially that pass attack with Quaintance and Isaiah McMorris was a really great standout player in this game. Absolutely played great, had, I believe, 2 or 3 touchdowns in this game, and absolutely great showing by him. My only concern is the defense. They gave up 56 points against the Millard West Wildcats, and honestly, I can't say Millard North will get very far in Class A, putting up those kind of numbers on defense, just especially in the running defense. Passing, they're a little bit better, but still could use some work here and there. When you face teams like Millard South or Bellevue West, which I believe are later in the schedule. They already played Millard South, but I believe Bellevue West is later in the schedule for Millard North. It's going to be tough because if they want to get far in Class A, they got to fix their defensive issues. And, that's all I got to say.
Yeah, for Millard North, I feel like that passing game was there. It was always there since the start. It's a one-dimensional thinking of offense running the triple option scheme, and it bites you in the butt sometimes, especially when you get down by 8. When you're getting the ball to start off with, you can't just run out the clock because you have to actually try and gain some forward momentum, which the run game does very little for you.
Yeah. And that'll do us for here on Strive. The Millard West Wildcats will face off in an away game against Millard South next week here at Buell Stadium. We won't be streaming, but you can catch us the next week in a home game against Kearney. This has been Miguel Paredes Reyes.
It's been Logan Mosley.
We'll see you guys later.